guys. We did it. We have enough hot takes. We don't need any more. No more opinions, no more hot takes. We've heard them all. We've had enough. No more. Isn't it awesome? Everyone can just shut up now.
Hello and good morning.
Oh, good morning, BBs. It is too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And woo!
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 What a week it has been.
Yeah.
What a weird-ass week. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, my wood floors attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
now,
currently...
this happened last week.
True.
Your wood floors attacked you last week. I'm just setting the stage.
Yeah. Okay, so setting the stage, last Friday in the morning, before I left for WonderCon and walked around a convention for 2 days, my wood floors in my very, very old floors in my home split, and they attacked me, and I had much wood in my body.
Now, last week, I believe after failed save, you told us all that you had a piece of wood in your foot. And we said, Saige, you can't go to WonderCon tomorrow with a piece of wood in your foot. Go see a doctor first.
So my dilemma, I already pulled a big piece of wood out. This is so horrible to start your morning with. I'm so sorry. Genuinely, ick. So I had already pulled a big chunk of my wood floor out of my foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's probably all of it. And then I was walking around and I was like, maybe this is not all of it because I am in pain. And I kept looking and I was like, I think it's just a cut now. I think it's just dried blood to cut now. I think it's fine. So I did. I went for a good few days and like a menace, walked around a convention, ran around my backyard barefoot. And then finally on Wednesday, after the show, I was like, nah, man, I got a piece of wood. And like, now, picture a splinter. Picture more. Picture more. One more time. And I went to a doctor, and I had two strange things happen. I promise I'll keep this relatively short. The rest will be less body horror. One is the nurse looked at me and was like, "You've been fucking walking around like this? What do you mean? What are you saying? What are you saying? You've been walking around like this for 5 days?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I just thought it was a cut on my foot." And he was like, "Didn't it hurt?" I'm like, "Cuts hurt."
No.
Cuts hurt. Of course it hurt.
No, Saige. No.
Yeah. Cuts hurt. It made sense that it hurt. Anyways, he was like, "How much did you already pull out? How is this so big?" Besides the point. I was wearing my sweatshirt that says True Crime Club. And he was like, "Oh, I take it you're a fan of true crime?" And I was like, yeah, I love true crime. And he was like, "Yeah, my niece is super into it. My girlfriend's super into it. I feel like all the women in my life love true crime." And I was like, "Yeah, it's because it's the only place that there's a validation in the undeniable horror that we subject ourselves to every day. We know that we're constantly in danger, but for some reason the entire world is just existing as if we aren't, except for when we listen to true crime." And he was like, "Oh, I guess,
Well, because I like that this doctor comes up to you.
I guess I never thought of it that way."
with the baseline take.
Yeah.
The base, like, boy, women sure do love true crime. Like that hot joke from 2016.
And like, he wasn't even making a joke, and he was being very nice.
No, but it is. He was like, "This is a thing that I've been thinking about."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, really? No, really? And I love that you presented that thing to him, and he was like...
He had a whole moment, and he goes, and I swear to you, he goes silent for a second, then he goes, "Yeah, I mean, I guess I get to just go for a walk at midnight, and you guys can't do that. I don't even think about it. I don't even think about those things."
Whoa.
"I'll be right back." And he left.
And he left, and he came back, and he was like... "So you're ready? You're just about ready. You're good to go. You're ready to leave."
So I feel pretty good about that.
You're ready to leave. You can just sign out of the front desk. Do you need me to walk you there?
And he was delightful. And then my actual doctor comes in. And in the strangest opening of an interaction with a doctor, he goes, "Oh no, what has happened to your beautiful foot?" And I said,
Oh boy.
The adjective wasn't necessary.
Oh dear.
Okay. This is,
What has happened to your beautiful foot? Let's lick it and see.
Ew! Anthony!
That was the subtext. I'm sorry. That was the subtext of that statement. I'm sorry. A foot doc. Listen, you're a podiatrist.
No,
you were already
he's a normal doctor. I
No,
went to
he's
an
not.
urgent care.
No, he's not. I've met normal doctors. He's not one of them. You can say he's a general practitioner.
Okay, he's a general.
But you can't say that man's a normal doctor.
And it was a strange interaction. He was very nice. But I will say, not a great opening. If I could give a note,
Yeah.
I would take all adjectives away from the foot conversation.
Did he walk? Yeah, it's like walking and go, oh no, your wiki feet rating. Although that's actually funny.
It's pretty funny.
If he had walked in and been like, oh no, your wiki feet rating.
That is stronger than, oh no, your beautiful foot.
What happened to your beautiful foot? Oh.
And I am very
I have to do this. I'm a
uncomfortable.
doctor.
I'm very uncomfortable with people perceiving my feet. So that was tough. Anyways, that's been my week.
Anyway.
It's not a thing, Anthony. We can't.
Well, I'm glad your foot's okay. And
Yeah, I'm all wrapped up.
I wish you would, as we're adults now,
Yes.
I wish you would learn to go, I'm in pain, I admit it, I will go have this checked out. I know it's tough, but I wish that for you.
Step 1, I hate doctors.
I know.
Step 2 of my anxieties. I knew I was in pain, and I could admit I was in pain. I just thought I was supposed to be.
Yeah, but you're always like,
I just thought I deserved it.
I just thought I deserved pain. Yeah, okay. See, now, we don't have time to unpack that, but that's sort of what I was getting to. Do you know what I mean?
I was just like, well, sometimes you make a stupid choice of walking barefoot in your own home.
Yeah, it's
So
my
you
fault for walking barefoot on my floors that I pay for, and I should have known better. And I apologize to the floors, and I apologize to all of the men who installed the floors and the men who cut down the wood. I'm just apologizing to men, and I don't know why.
I'll never apologize to men. Trust me. But I did feel very embarrassed about going in and being like, excuse me, doctor, I have a splinter. Excuse me, I have a splinter in my foot. And I thought they were going to be like, you really couldn't do this yourself?
Yeah, but it turned into a fucking magician's trick, Saige. It turned into a...
I really thought they were going to laugh at me.
No. This is, once again, we don't have time to go here right now. But this is what I'm talking about. They're not allowed to do that.
Oh, you got a splinter in your foot?
Oh, does the baby have a splinter? Hey, everybody come in here. Baby's got a splinter. That's not what they do.
Weenie Hut General!
Oh, I mean, listen, we have so many, and here in the States in particular, I understand everybody's, like, I'm giggling and we're goofing, but I understand everybody's fears about every part of the medical industry. 100%. I'm afraid I'm going to go in and they're going to say that the splinter's not a big deal and I'm wasting their time. I'm afraid that I'm going to go in there and I have a splinter and they're going to tell me it's $15,000. I'm afraid that I'm going to go in there for a splinter and something terrible is going to happen to me because that's where all the germs are.
I spent $350 on a splinter.
It was a big splinter. So
Thought they were
I
gonna send me
understand
here.
all of those fears, but at the same time, because America and the American medical system sucks, but at the same time, you gotta go to the doctor.
Roll the
You
intro
gotta
one
go to
more
the
time.
doctor.
Anyways.
Let's talk about video game news. Because there's some, well, look.
Yes, Anthony.
Here's what we're gonna say.
What are we going to say?
We're gonna say that between Moon Knight and Severance and Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's been a real Anthony month for media. It's been a real. It's been a real Anthony month for media. Feeling very good about it. Feeling very catered to, blessed, etc., etc. And then, the forces of the universe gave me just one more perfect gift, Saige.
I would argue they gave you 2 more perfect gifts.
Oh, because Max Payne 1 and 2 are getting remade, and they're getting remade by Remedy. That's right. Remedy is remaking Max Payne 1 and 2. They worked out a deal with Rockstar. Of course, Rockstar has held the rights since Max Payne 3, which fucking sucks. Hey, you ever want to see a really weird, cool, interesting, unique thing turned into just another GTA? Play Max Payne 3. What a fucking one metric video game. That was one exact video game is what that was. But 1 and 2 are coming. We were talking about this. We guessed that this might be happening.
Yep. A while back.
We're very prescient.
We are professional news journalists.
We're professional video games journalists with minutes of experience, and I'll tell you what, we know what's happening. We know what's happening out there.
I find this very interesting that they reacquired the rights, and instead of moving on to making 4 or making just generally a sequel that could potentially ignore 3, that they went back to 1 and 2. Do you think that this lays the groundwork for a new Max Payne game?
Yeah, I think it's just been too long.
Yeah.
I think it's been too long, and so for the youths and are you about to say it's been too long? You were, aren't you?
Been a long.
So I think it's been such a huge amount of time that they're like, we need to reintroduce people to Max Payne and what this is, especially since the most recent one was Max Payne 3, which doesn't feel anything like Max Payne. So for the one that the most people have played, feels the least like what these games are supposed to feel like. Yeah. And they just remade Alan Wake. Bless
up.
And they were talking about like using this engine to do other things, and we were like, it's got to be Max Payne.
Yeah,
they got to be doing Max Payne. So I think this 1 and 2 comes out, and then I don't think the new one is called Max Payne 4. I think they pretend Max Payne 3 doesn't exist.
I agree. I absolutely think that they give it a name. They're not going to be like, we made Max Payne 3.
No, it'll be Max Payne : fuck you, Rockstar, you ruined it.
Yeah, something like that.
That's probably what it'll be called. Max Payne : Rockstar ruined our game. Max Payne : if you wanted to make another GTA, why didn't you just do it? Max Payne, Max Payne : take the name Max Payne out of your mouth.
Max Payne, hey, now you're a rock star. Give my game back.
I love this, especially since now that they've shown off their multiplayer game, and it looks very standard. I'm excited there's some more Remedy-style weirdness actually coming our way.
Agreed. This is very exciting. I wish we had more of a timeline for it, obviously. I hate when a game gets announced and we don't get something.
Yeah, this is just the start of development announcement.
Yes.
We do know that it is coming to... PC, PS5, Xbox Series. It's going to be in the Northlight engine. Remedy has a royalty opportunity after Rockstar Games has recouped its development, marketing, and other costs for distributing and publishing the game. So this is Remedy developed, Rockstar published.
I appreciate that all of that is, like, in here. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the, like, I feel like it's a good little, like, fuck you to release that, too. To, like, have that be like, yeah, I mean, and then we'll start making money once Rockstar makes all of their money.
Yeah. We have to give Rockstar all the money for Max Payne. Seems weird, huh?
How interesting.
Just a little boop, boop, boop.
Yeah. Also, just to clarify, 1 and 2 will be released as a single title, which I think is the way to do remakes of that are like that far back. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because it's Remedy, I would have expected that, but because Rockstar is publishing, I would have thought maybe they'll nickel and dime us on this one.
Yeah, or put out like a collection of multiple games that are like then overpriced.
Overpriced and broken?
Yeah.
Well, that's not like Rockstar.
Nice.
Speaking of overpriced and broken.
Me?
No, they fixed you. They took the infinite splinter out.
It was expensive.
But the only splinter left now is the soul splinter. Which is where Gamora is trapped. Speaking of overpriced and broken, Cyberpunk. You would have thought that when we started this show a little over a year ago, we were a Cyberpunk news show because there was nothing else to do.
That's so true. We just kept talking about Cyberpunk.
We were like, I can't wait to start a video game show together with you, my friend, because we love talking about video games. And then it was 3 weeks of Cyberpunk.
Straight Cyberpunk.
Just all Cyberpunk all the time. And it didn't turn out well. If you're just waking up to existence now.
Oh my God, if you've been cryogenically frozen.
Yeah, if you've been cryogenically frozen.
Ooh.
If you're some sort of a golem or Dybbuk, maybe you have
a construct of some sort. If you're Kettle.
Yeah. Maybe you don't know, but Cyberpunk 2077 did not turn out well. And we've had a lot of things to show us that. There have been markers, there have been signs in the air.
Yeah, there's been some hints towards that.
Some hints, but there's a big, big indicator that just happened yesterday.
Cyberpunk 2077. The game with so much promise, with years of hype and so much crunch leading up to its release, is in the bargain bin for $5 at Best Buy.
Physical copies are available for $5 right now. Now, these are, of course, PS4 and Xbox One copies, but those are the only physical copies that exist, and due to their incredible fuck-up with this game, you do get the next-gen update for free once you do that. So if you don't have Cyberpunk yet, I mean, $5 look, I used to go, back before everything was on VOD, I used to go to like Best Buy and just buy one or two random things out of the movie bin for $5 just to be like, this looks weird as hell, let's go.
That explains so much of your personality.
I'm this person. I would play $5, I'd be like, this looks like it's pretty bad. I've heard terrible things. $5, let's go.
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely agree with that. I'm a fan of going and downloading like the worst looking games on Steam, and like this is on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, I just have such a funny visual of somebody like going into their cryogenic freezing tank 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, ooh, I can't wait to play Cyberpunk when I get out. I'm going to give myself a little freezy, and then I'm going to wake up in a few years
just
feeling rested.
Freezy.
One little freezy. 3 years, okay, right?
Yeah. And in 3 years, not only will the game be out, but they'll have released multiple DLCs. It'll be the biggest thing in the world.
Exactly.
It'll be
and the
huge.
world will be great.
Yeah, it's not going to get delayed any further. It's going to happen.
Now at this point there's no pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They get frozen.
Mm-hmm.
You wake this person up and the first thing is
Cyberpunk okay?
No, but that's the only thing that went wrong, fortunately, in the last 3 years.
Whew.
Everything else is okay, but I'm so sorry to tell you, Cyberpunk did not live up to expectations.
Oh, no.
They gave their employees little tokens as bonuses.
Why did I have to wake up in a world where Cyberpunk didn't go well? This
Anyways,
is the worst thing that could ever happen. Anyway.
Hands you a suit of gear and a mask to get out into the world to go home.
Kellen Rohr, thank you for the 10 subs. I want you to know we're seeing everybody's donations and subscriptions and bits, all that stuff. We're going to do a big honor roll at the end of the show. Thank you all for helping because we're an independent network and we could really use it. But, Saige.
Yeah.
Before Cyberpunk was a bad video game,
it
was a good genre of things.
So true. It's such a bummer that they took that name.
Between the loss, I'll tell you what. Between the loss of Cyberpunk and Metaverse, the Cyberpunks are really taking a hit.
Mm-hmm.
All the like real cyberpunky vaporwavy people are taking a real hit these days.
Very true.
I'm so sorry. But in very good news about Cyberpunk games, the Bladerunner tabletop RPG. Now we had talked about the fact that this was coming into existence.
Yes.
It's coming out this fall. Free League is releasing it in September.
Mm-hmm.
Got an article here by Charlie Hall on Polygon, who of course, we got cyberpunked.
Shit.
Somebody hacked the planet on us.
Oh no. That's what we get for talking shit about Cyberpunk.
Dude.
Things stop working.
They are Legion. You didn't see anything. Stop with those emojis. Quit with the emotes. How dare. You didn't see a damn thing. Charlie Hall, who of course runs the board game beat at and tabletop beat at Polygon, writes a lot of interesting stuff. Was talking to Free League about this, and they released the first page spreads and art from the game, and oh my lord, Saige.
Yeah, that looks good.
So here we have
this
some
is
character classes.
Yeah, so this is from the core rules. This is the Inspector. Your key attributes are agility. Your skills are firearms, observation, and insight. Your Chin Yen points are on a D6, which is very, very interesting. They have a little bit of a system here of what your appearance could look like, a name that you could choose from, and a specialty.
I mean, it's obvious. This is obviously, we know who this is. This is Deckard. This is if you want to be the Blade Runner. Here he is.
So you can choose a specialty. You roll a D3, and it's either hardened, married to the job, or smokes.
I love that.
I think that kind of stuff, like the little actual stats of it, do give us a little bit of insight into how the system is actually going to play, which is very interesting because we don't have anything foundationally of what the rules system looks like. I don't know if it's going to be a D20 system. Yeah,
you can imagine sort of like what a perk like married to the job would be, right? Like you're gonna, it would be the equivalent of D&D and like getting bonuses to perception and investigation and things like that, but like you're gonna take a hit in things like charisma and in things, it's, you can see sort of the ups and downs of the character class, and I love that. We have some more art. I mean, look at this.
Wow.
There's a spinner flying through the city. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're getting this on Pixel Circus. Saige did tell me that I could DM a Blade Runner mini when it came out. So
of course.
We're probably going to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're probably going to do that.
So also, Free League, hit us up.
Yeah, Free League, what's up?
Free League, give us a little early access, yeah?
Free League, what are you up to?
Maybe.
What are you up to in, well, let's not say September. Let's say your Kickstarter's, they're calling it a Kickstarter support campaign. That means the game is coming in September, but if they're using it as pre-orders.
So maybe May.
Maybe May.
Maybe hit us up.
We can run a little campaign for you. I don't know. And if anybody wants to be like, hey, Free League, you know who are some cool people? We're not going to stop you. We're not going to stop you.
But I'm very, very excited about this. This is such a fun universe to play in. And for so long, we've been in this position of people just reskinning games to tell them in these universes. So to have these systems built around them, it's the difference between, I was talking with a friend yesterday about like, he wanted to run like a Witcher-esque game in D&D. And I'm like, you seen the Witcher RPG system?
Dude, I'm telling you, we are living in the golden age of tabletop. We really, really are.
Yeah.
There's never been more interest. People have never been more excited, and there have never been more options. One of the things that, it's not unfortunate, and I'm not bummed about it, but there will always be a dominant system and a dominant, there's always going to, D&D is always going to rule. You know what I mean? D&D is number one, and they have, I would say like 90% of the supporting media and community around tabletop right now is D&D.
I'd say it's probably, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I do wish that that people were more aware of their options out there. Because sometimes, like, I played a D&D home campaign. I think I told you about these the people that I was playing with, and they're great. And a couple of them had played before, but if a couple of them hadn't, and they really liked it, but they were like not loving it. And I could tell the reason they were not loving it is just like, the systems were wrong for them. The mechanics were wrong for them. And I'm like, man, this is why things like Fate exist. This is why things like all of these other smaller systems exist. And a lot of people just don't know they're out there to get into. And, I just wish people knew about all their options.
Here's what I will say is D&D is a great introduction. Because it's something you've heard of, because it's something there's a lot of media surrounding. It's something that is less abstract to a lot of people to introduce them through. It's a nice point of like, well, but you have an idea of what this is, rather than being like, hey, let's jump in. Would you like to play some Lasers and Feelings? And they're like, I don't know what that is, even though it's a simpler system, they would pick up much faster.
Right. They're like, yeah, I mean, it's like, well, let's try a one sheet or something like that. Let's play. And people are like, I want to do D&D because that's the one.
But D&D is a great introduction.
It's a great introduction. Man, you know what's great? Honestly, and this is gonna sound like I'm shilling, the fucking Star Wars tabletop system owns.
Yeah.
Owns. It's somehow Fantasy Flight got the feeling of video game mechanics into tabletop, if that makes sense.
What's that one? Is that one Edge of? That one's not Edge of the Empire. I've heard it's very crunchy, right? That one's a lot more mechanical, yeah?
It's mechanical, but the mechanics are simpler. It's like you have a certain number of dice and types of dice.
It's dice
for your
pools, yeah.
It's dice pools for
Edge of the Empire
your different for your different classes. So like if you're a rogue, you have rogue dice and things like that. And it reminds me of like a Shadowrun without all the math. Just like the dice pools and exploding dice of Shadowrun without all the crunchy crunch math.
I'll also, in a non-shill, throw out Scum and Villainy.
Mm-hmm.
Scum and Villainy, The Reskin of Blades in the Dark, has a book. So good. You can play it in a setting that's like Star Wars, but you can also, it's very, very easily adapted and like suggested as one of the ways to play it, like Firefly, other various settings that you might love.
Elaki in the live studio audience was saying that they run like an RPG library, and their whole thing is helping people find RPGs.
I can't be that far back. There it is.
I help run an RPG library. We bring hundreds of different RPG systems to conventions, and 90% of our visitors still ask us about D&D. And they're gonna, right? Like, this is like when I used to work in the video game store, and people came in and they were like, well, I wanna buy this. And I'm like, well, you wanna buy this.
Uh-huh.
And based on your taste in that, may I interest you in this, which is the cooler version of what you want that most people don't know about. You know what I mean? That's a librarian's job.
Yes, absolutely. But also, I want to come to your convention library.
Yeah, also, what is the name of this organization? Feel free to put it in the chat.
And when are you going to be at a convention?
Because we would love...
That's dope as hell.
We would love to stop by and see that. People are saying Pathfinder's good, but not for beginners. Yeah, Pathfinder is essentially like, I miss 3rd edition. I miss 3rd edition the game. Which is cool. It's just like, for me... too crunch.
It's not even like that crunchy in comparison. It's like crunchy if you came straight from your first D&D game. It is, but like also
no
D&D but Paizo and math. I'm good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not saying I'll never play it. I'm saying it's not high on my list. It's not like to the top. I don't put it on my list of favorite RPGs.
Crunchy is not maybe the main word. It's not. It's cumbersome.
Yes, I agree.
I find it cumbersome because it has a lot of the old mechanics from 3 and 3.5 that you had to do.
Now, castle gaming, that sounds fun as shit, a Pokemon RPG. I have also wondered about that, why we don't have something that's more like officially produced. I know that there are like indie and one-pagers and stuff like that surrounding Pokemon, but I would love to see something like this. A bunch of companies are getting rights to things, which is very difficult to do with the Nintendo company and with the Pokemon company. But yeah, I would love to see something official when it comes to a Pokemon RPG. Yeah. Or even just like a really fucking good skin.
Yeah, and I think there's a double-edged sword to that too, right? Like, we're seeing a lot of these things like Bladerunner. Somebody just mentioned the Avatar RPG. These licensed RPGs.
Yeah.
Which is great because it gets more RPGs out into the world, and it gets more systems out there, and it has a built-in audience, right? But the problem is, on a certain level, it's also a built-in limitation to an audience, right? Because it's not it is a system. It is just a generic system. You don't have to, if you like the way the Blade Runner system plays, you could reskin it to not be Blade Runner, right? Yeah. The same way people do with D&D. But I think a lot of people just think of, oh, well, I don't want to play that one because I'm not that into The Witcher, even though the system might be interesting.
Well, that's why I find really interesting. Like, we have friends at Steamforge Games, and Steamforge Games puts generally things on a D&D system, but officially licensed reskins. So they're the people behind the Dark Souls RPG, for instance. They did the Horizon RPG. All of them are based on a D&D system, but they add interesting mechanics. Like the Dark Souls one has like these kind of interesting like life calculating mechanics that get added to Dungeons and Dragons. So it's not just you're playing D&D in this setting, it's been actually adapted to
Right.
feel like the world, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I would like to see something like that for Pokemon.
Same. I mean, it feels like such a natural thing to go straight from the card game when you're, card games for all ages, but people get into the card game when they're younger, technically, usually. It'd be fun. So when kids get a little bit older and they're ready to expand and play more tabletop stuff, it would be great if the Pokemon RPG system was there for them.
What a dream.
There's that one that's for kids and families that's very good. I don't know if you've seen it. I have a couple friends that worked on it. Quest. Have you seen Quest?
I have not.
Quest
Fairy
is
Firefly.
so lovely. Well, this is Cosmic Fantasy. This is their first big expansion. But Quest is absolutely lovely. You basically get like a game book and like cards. It's like heavily card based. Like there are treasure cards and spell cards, and you just kind of like put them all together. And it's made for like it was made particularly for parents that play RPGs that want to play with their kids who want to play with them, but their kids aren't quite ready yet. Mm-hmm. But it's also just like a fun, quick game to play with friends.
Nice.
And also just beautiful. And you can get all their beautiful physical stuff, but you also don't need any of it.
That's great.
They're just like, no, here it is, play it. But if you want to buy this beautiful physical stuff, we have it.
The art's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Fraud Monet in the live studio audience said there is a Pokemon Tabletop Adventure and United. They're unofficial, but beefy ass books have the full Pokedex translated into the game, but it's very numbers and dice heavy and not well balanced. Yeah. That's a bummer.
That makes sense. I mean, I love that Homebrew's stepping up. For instance, this is the character sheet in Quest.
Okay.
This is what it is.
It's a Mad Lib.
It's a Mad Lib. Hi, my name is blank. I'm blank years old. I stand blank tall. I'm the party's blank. Here's what they notice about me. Here's what I wear. Here's where I'm from and what my people are known for. So it's just like...
It's great.
That's the entire character.
I buy this book for my niece and nephew.
Yeah, it's lovely. And it's also just great for like... So many of our friends, I think, get into it because they're improvisers or actors. And they're like, this seems fun.
Yeah.
And I love this part of it. How do I get into it to where I don't have to do all the other stuff?
Sure.
How do I turn this into an improv party game, basically?
Yeah. Phoenix Goth in the live studio audience said kids on bikes.
Kids on
we
bikes.
Love kids on bikes, kids on brooms.
That's powered by the apocalypse, right? Kids on bikes, or is that its own system?
Kids on bikes is its own system.
Okay.
Right? Yes, I know that.
Kaylee better not be in chat. She'll be so mad at us.
I know. Or Ivan Van Norman. Our friends who made it. Don't at me. I've played it. It's fun. The other day I was watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
And they said the words demons on bikes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very important episode of Buffy. It's the Buffy. And I'm so sorry. This is going to be a spoiler for the 2001 season 5 of Buffy. But when Buffy is revived and comes out of the grave and is like trying to help her friends who have been trying to sustain while she's gone, there's a gang of biker demons.
Yeah.
And they yell, "Demons on bikes!"
Yeah.
And I had an idea.
Demons on bikes. That's all she's saying, but there's an idea.
Kids on bikes.
But demons now.
But demons.
But demons.
You know
now.
what I mean?
Think about it.
Spoilers for a nearly 20-year-old TV season?
Spoilers.
Over 20.
Anyway. RPGs are good.
RPGs are very good.
Tabletop games are good.
Yeah.
Bladerunner's coming out in September.
Mm-hmm.
And have your eyes open for that Kickstarter in May.
You know what else is good?
Are you gonna say Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga?
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars.
Actually,
because God, I love that game. Lego Star Wars is so good.
Lego Star Wars is so good, but there's a couple of funny things to it. Like I also think I am a simple woman, and I love a younglings joke. I love a joke about killing younglings.
Yeah.
I have a good time with it. I like to joke a lot playing Princess Leia that it's in my blood.
Yeah. I was doing that on stream too.
Mhm.
Like, I was just like, I'm Luke Skywalker! Get out of my way!
So, two things. One, an incredible headline from Kotaku says, Lego Star Wars makes comboing younglings a real strategy.
Listen, the combo system in Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The combat and hand-to-hand, I can't believe how well they did with it. But chaining combos and multipliers together in this Star Wars game is a big deal.
So what they're referencing with that headline is at Red Orb Fragment on Twitter said, so children, at least this child, don't take friendly fire damage. So I found my test dummy. Also, side note, you can use children to cross large pits in void space. I'm calling this child flight.
This is a pro strat, get ready, game's done quick.
Just wailing on a Lego kid.
So he takes no damage, but as long as you're doing this, your combo meter doesn't go away. So if you were to fight like a bunch of people and then combo into a youngling and then juggle the youngling across to the next area of combat, you could potentially keep your combo meter up high.
And look at them traveling. Like,
Yep.
That's what he was talking about, or they were talking about like traveling across a pit.
Yeah.
You can absolutely travel across like void spaces with that.
You're also gaining height, which there's some stuff that you can't get to until later on in a lot of these maps that you could potentially, if you're gaining enough height from that juggle. I mean, listen.
They want you to use the kids.
Comboing younglings is a pro strat.
Now,
This is very out of character for Qui-Gon, that I'll say.
but here's what's also very funny. I was sitting here on this tweet and I looked to the right and I looked at Red Orb's Twitter bio.
I love Lego and I hate children. He stole that Twitter bio from you. That's your Twitter bio. Oh my God.
I find that so funny because this tweet started blowing up and they knew exactly what to do. I wish and I hope within my heart that this was their Twitter bio before.
Me too. I'd like to think
so funny, and I'm going to choose to believe that this was already their Twitter bio.
I'd like to think that they've been on Twitter since the beginning.
Mhm.
You know, like it's 2009 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they joined Twitter, and Twitter's like, say something about yourself. It's like, oh man, what do I tell people about me? Well, I love Lego, and I fucking hate children, and that's been their bio for 10 years.
Yeah, and it's finally relevant.
Now, there's a lot of looking at Red Orb's feed. There are a lot of Bionicles
And Legos.
So maybe that's true. Maybe that's true.
Also,
Saige, you might have found your best friend. That might be your best friend. Oh, Saige, that's definitely your best friend.
they post Legos and cats. That's it.
You gonna slide into those DMs?
I am absolutely not.
Because we don't do that.
No, we sure
Hey,
don't.
everybody, look at me. We don't do that. If you can't say the thing you're gonna say to the stranger publicly on the social network, you ain't supposed to say it to a stranger.
That's why my DMs are closed. If you have anything to say, there are so many public platforms in which I allow everybody to talk at me.
Did you play that Metroid Dread?
I did not play Metroid Dread.
Played a little bit of the Metroid Dread.
I liked Metroids when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but they were never my favorite. It
Yeah.
was like a in the car game on my PSP for me.
Yeah, Metroidvania doesn't feel like it's your genre.
It's not.
It feels like it's just a lot of. I would say, if I had to guess, I would say just the backtracking and the oops, you missed one thing in one room.
Yeah, I find that very irritating.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Meanwhile, I will hyper focus on a Metroidvania for weeks, for months, for years.
True.
How many times have I beaten Symphony of the Night? It doesn't matter.
Don't ask.
How many languages could I know? How many instruments could I play right now were it not for Alucard and Richter Belmont? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But if you did play Metroid Dread, if you were a big fan of Metroid Dread,
Okay.
you would be very excited about the new update that's coming out
Ooh.
This is a new update to Metroid Dread that is adding boss rush modes.
Boss rush modes.
Now, while I love a Metroidvania, I fucking never have liked a boss rush mode. I understand them.
Okay.
I get them. I'll watch them. Like, I'll watch people, like, videos of people doing a boss rush mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it when people have that, like, impeccable play style and they can go through, like, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hate a boss rush mode. I find them frustrating and tedious. My brain doesn't like them. But I get why people enjoy them.
Okay.
And Metroid Dread has added not just 1, but 3 boss rush modes, Saige. 3. The first one is the standard boss rush mode, which will unlock when you beat the game.
Okay.
The second one is Dread boss rush, which happens when you beat the game on Dread mode.
Okay.
Dread boss rush is going to cause a game over during boss rush mode if you get hit even once. It's a no damage boss rush mode.
No.
But I look forward to the videos of people beating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see this little?
Your hair looks nice.
No, but there was like a little guy. Did you see
the
it?
little guy going out?
Going. And then on the third one is rookie mode, which is a boss rush mode with increased recovery and less damage from bosses.
Okay.
So like a training, get in there, figure out the patterns, that kind of stuff. I think this is fascinating. It's Metroid Dread looks like it's going to be the series' all-time bestseller, which is a huge deal.
That is a big deal.
Because when you think about how popular Metroid was, and Super Metroid, that's huge. Metroid Prime sold incredibly well for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So for this to be the highest-selling game in the series is a big deal. It's looking at, I think at the end of December, or February. Sorry, they put a lot of months into this statement. But basically, it came out in October. We know that by December, it had sold 2.74 million units. And they released that December data in February. So there's been a lot. That's what was confusing about that.
Too many
sentence.
months.
It's too many months. I don't know. Did y'all play it? Were y'all into it? I
I've seen a lot of love for it in the chat.
I played it a little bit, and I forget what. I can never tell if it was another game releasing or something in life that took me away from a game. You know
Both
what I mean?
valid.
But it's tough once I leave a game. It's tough for me to go back.
Liam Brazier in the live studio audience said, "Get in there, give the boss a splinter, get out."
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do it.
Yeah, do that. Very effective.
In a little bit of industry news.
I am nerfed.
In a little bit of industry news, there was some good to mixed Activision Blizzard news.
Which is immeasurably more positive than normally how we would talk about Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, absolutely. This was sent by a few people in the Discord. Thank you, everybody in the Discord who was chatting about this yesterday. We really appreciate it. Activision Blizzard has decided to convert all US-based QA workers to full-time positions, and all of them will have their pay increased to at least $20 an hour. Now, if you've been keeping track of all of the bad Activision stuff, of which there is so much, Raven Software was staging daily walkouts. They are one of the largest QA divisions within Activision.
Mm-hmm.
They were staging walkouts daily and trying to unionize because of how QA workers are being treated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is a huge, huge deal. However, don't worry, Alonzo. I'm on it.
Am I gonna exclamation point backseat to Alonzo?
Are you gonna backseat Alonzo? Maybe. Now, the reason why this is good to mixed is Ravensoft, who started this whole conversation, are being left out. They are not going to get this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's So fucked and not surprising.
Now, this is there's an official reason for this, and then there is the reason for this. The official reason is because Ravensoft is in the midst of unionizing. They're trying to unionize. Their union has not been recognized. But because they are in those legal negotiations, Activision Blizzard is saying, we're not allowed legally. We can't give you this deal because you are trying to do your own deal, and legally we can't touch that. What they're really doing is fucking union busting. That's what they're really doing. Right?
Yes, absolutely. They're saying, well, I mean, I guess you could go through with the union, or you could come over here and have benefits and pay.
Yeah. Oh, geez. See, we were going to do it anyway. See what happens?
Oh,
these guys
complicated this a lot.
They nearly ruined it for all of you. Oh, golly.
What a relief, those of you who didn't participate in that.
Yeah, but everybody who didn't get themselves all tied up in all this Lego mumbo jumbo, well, come on over because mom and dad got you your favorite breakfast. We're going to McDonald's to get you the flapjacks, and everybody else has to stay home and eat oatmeal.
Ew, I hate this. Also, $20 an hour, not impressive.
Yeah. Now they say $20 an hour is base pay. That will be the least that they make. It's still not impressive. Listen,
I don't trust Activision Blizzard to have a low pay.
$20 an hour isn't impressive for anybody anymore.
And again, I mean, I know at least there is a huge division of Activision Blizzard here in California, in Southern California. That is not enough money.
Yeah, no. In any major city, that's really not enough money. So Activision Blizzard basically said, this is the official statement, due to our legal obligations under the National Labor Relations Act, which they clearly care about. They definitely care about the National Labor Relations Act. We cannot institute new pay initiatives at Raven at this time because they would be new kinds of compensation changes. They're saying, oh, Raven's just frozen in their own stupidity is what it is. Get fucked. Get fucked.
In other underpaying news, if you're ready to move on.
Yeah, I did want to, the Communication Workers of America, I do want to say that, like, the Communication Workers of America put out a statement about this. Mm-hmm. That's who most games unions are trying to go through, the Communication Workers of America, because they've been the most welcoming. Unfortunately, a lot of the larger unions, like particularly movie, television production unions, have been against letting video games in, which is a whole other fucking thing. They're just gatekeeping, in all honesty. And gatekeeping a union is the shittiest thing you can do because it doesn't give you power. It gives the oligarchs power.
You know what happens when you work non-union, as someone who grew up working for a union and then
I've been non-union all my life.
I was a SAG actor for all my life, and only when I started working on the internet was that no longer union work. When that happens, you can have completely different contracts. Go out to all of your employees and specifically just send the one problem woman at the company a really shitty one that says, hey, if we're racist, you said it's okay.
Sign here to say that it's okay that we talk bad about ladies.
But we're not going to get into that right now.
Communications Worker of America Secretary-Treasurer Sarah Steffens provided this statement. Make no mistake, all credit for Activision Blizzard's latest move to give all temporary and contingent QA teams full-time employment and a raise should go to the workers who have been organizing, mobilizing, and speaking out. It's especially galling that Activision has excluded Raven Software, who have been at the forefront of this effort, from these benefits. The company's assertion that the National Labor Relations Act prevents them from including Raven workers is clearly an effort to divide workers and undermine their effort to form a union. Activision's disingenuous announcement is further evidence of the need for workers to have a protected voice on the job. We strongly urge Activision Blizzard to rectify this situation and respect Raven QA workers' protected rights to organize under the law.
So this is your reminder, everybody. Talk to your coworkers. Have an open dialogue about everything that a company is offering you to make sure that everybody is getting equal standing. This is not only a responsibility of marginalized people to make sure that they're being treated fairly, but people in positions of privilege to make sure that the marginalized people at their company are being treated fairly, because they are most likely being treated poorly.
If you've ever been told, hey, we're going to give you a little raise because you're great, but like money's tight right now, so don't tell anybody else.
Tell everyone.
Tell everyone you got the raise because they have the money.
Absolutely. Make sure you get fair treatment, and you will only get that by being a community of coworkers, because your bosses, your HR, they are not out for your best interest.
Whenever I host or work on any production, I immediately, as early as possible, find out who my co-host is.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I don't know them, I immediately am like, hey, what's your deal like?
Yep.
Just immediately.
Yep.
Hey, what's your deal like? Here's what my deal's like.
Yes.
Let's make sure we get the same deal.
Absolutely. I'm working for 2 different companies. I had 2 different contracts put in front of me this week. Mm-hmm. One was by an incredible liaison that's working with both of us. Mm-hmm. They called me and said, hey, I just want to make it very clear that you are getting the exact same deal. I will make sure that you're all CC'd on the same email so you know that you are getting the exact same offer, because we were working for a big company and have an excellent contact there.
Yes.
The other one, I got a very different contract than my male coworker. A very different contract.
When you're scummy, we know. We know.
People in the chat said, are we ever going to get that story? It's going to be a while.
It's been a while.
It's going to be a while.
In other bad pay news, let's talk about some more bad pay news.
Let's talk about some more bad pay news. And in doing so, we have to talk about IGN. You might have seen this article going around. This was posted by Kat Bailey. Kat Bailey is the IGN senior editor, or is a senior editor at IGN, and posted this, which is very interesting to me. IGN is looking for new freelancers to assist with the daily flow of stories in games, entertainment, tech, and science. $20 base rate per story, sliding scale for heavier reporting, DM with introduction and portfolio for details.
Whew. Now, Kat Bailey, I want to give Kat Bailey all the benefit of the doubt. She's not one of the people that I know over at IGN. I know a lot of lovely people over at IGN.
Yeah.
But once again, we know a lot of lovely people everywhere. That doesn't mean the corporation or organization in and of itself is doing a good thing. I would like to think that Kat Bailey is in a position where she has to.
Absolutely.
She has to.
Sure.
She doesn't get to decide how much people get paid. She probably, I would like to think that Kat Bailey is probably like, hey, this is not enough. This is not enough, and this is what she's probably like, hey, Kat, why aren't we getting more stories? Well, people don't want to work for this rate.
But I guess, why are you posting it to your personal Twitter then? You are kind of comfortable putting your name on that. Yeah. So I will say, we're gonna say, don't ever harass anybody about their employer. Mm-hmm. But put a pin in that. And then, following up in this, I found really interesting. Somebody replied $20. That's all they said in it. To which Tina Amini, who is the editor-in-chief at IGN, said, for the most basic of stories that don't take our writers much time to write up, plenty of opportunities on the sliding scale. That said, we're always looking to try and increase our rates regardless.
Now, Tina, I do know. Tina came up at Kotaku and is at IGN now.
That's a tough take, Tina.
It's a tough take. And it shows more about the state of the entire industry than it does at IGN. This is why Vox was trying to unionize for so long. Mm-hmm. Y'all probably remember when Polygon and The Verge fought hard for a couple of years to unionize, to get better pay, because this is what journalists, even though this is what happens. New technology comes in and says, this is a beautiful, free, wild space. Mm-hmm. Come on in. Everybody's welcome. We don't pay much yet, but one day we will.
Yeah.
And the pay rates rise a little bit, and then the technology takes over, and the technology becomes the big bad and goes, this is the way we've always done it. Why would we need to change it?
Right.
Think about Uber and cab drivers. Think about delivery people, and, think about all of this stuff.
Exactly. So here's the things that it leads to. One, writers are already criminally underpaid. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely a thing. For any of my friends that work in this, they're some of the hardest working people I know. journalism is not that simple, and good journalism is never simple. So with that in mind, this is either going to lead to just very poorly researched, poorly put together stories that people only spent half an hour on tops, because that's the only way to make it worth their while, right? Or it leads to people going, oh shit, IGN would be a really good opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Right? It would look really good to say that I wrote for IGN. I am going to throw everything into this article because I want this, which is the way that the entertainment industry in every aspect takes advantage of people and underpays people. It's exposure, right? They're like, man, well, I know I should only put half an hour into this, but it's an IGN article, right?
Well, I will say this.
When you're looking at freelancers and not staffed employees.
Those longer articles, I do want to, just on the giving the full picture, for a big article like that, you normally have to pitch that article, and then they will give you a time limit and a rate based on that article. You may still overwork, and you may still overwork your rate.
Correct.
Those $20 articles that they're talking about, and Kat did clear this up, because this is a weird fucking thing. There are different things that are considered articles. Taking something like the Remedy press release that we showed on screen. Yeah. Rewriting that into a couple paragraphs instead of the long, that is considered like a $20 job. Remedy released that. Well, no. I mean,
that's what IGN considers a $20 article.
Right. That's what the industry considers a $20 article.
So what IGN considers a $20 article.
I'm telling you, like, a lot of the other outlets pay this badly too. That's why I'm just saying this is not just an IGN
I've seen the rates and I'm familiar with the rates.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah. So everybody is being underpaid. Everybody is being underpaid. No going into what I'm saying that I agree, and that is my position as well. But to give a little more clarification, so $20 for basic news aggregation is what Kat says. Did we just lose my NDI?
That's not mine.
Oh, well. Anyway, Kat says $20 for basic news aggregation, $50 for slightly more involved stories, finding us a fun community angle that's not sourced from another outlet, social media re-examine, $300 and up for in-depth multi-source reporting. That's still incredibly low rates. Low rates. But I do want to paint the picture clearly, which is nobody's writing a front page feature article for IGN for $20. The entire industry is still underpaid. That's all.
Sure, yes, but $50 for a slightly more involved story, example, finding us fun community angle that's not sourced from another outlet, social media reacts, like, that takes time.
That does. And there are people that are really good at it. We talk about some of the people that bring up some of the fun community stories. Particularly Kotaku's gotten very good at it now that Patricia is their editor-in-chief. Kotaku's great at, like, here's what everybody's saying about this one weird character from Elden Ring. Yeah. Those are great stories, and they take more time than $50 should pay. Listen, if that's...
No one can survive off that.
If that's a fun community angle and it takes somebody a day to find it, then they need to be paid for a day's worth of their time.
Correct. No one can survive off of that. The amount of stories that you would have to write per day to survive off that are not sustainable.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of these, people talk about why are all these blogs just posting the same stuff? Why are all these articles just like...
Because they're only paying their people $20.
They're paying $20. So for $20, I'm going to rewrite 10 press releases a day, submit them everywhere I can, hope I make $200 that day.
And still not be able to live in Los Angeles.
And fucking call it a day. The thing that's the most egregious to me is the $300 and up for the in-depth multi-source reporting. I think for me, that's the toughest one to swallow, right? So that's like, if you write a really good article, if you write like a front page IGN features article, is that only going to be $300? Could be. They could look at your article and say, they could J. Jonah Jameson you.
And that could take days.
Dude, it could take weeks. A good one can take a few months to source a really good feature article like that. That can be intense. And to get $300 for that. And it's like, well, freelance reporters, they're working on more than one article at a time. And it's like, yeah, they're killing themselves.
Yeah.
They're killing themselves because they're doing that amount of work for all of those different articles.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough. And then remember, all of these people are freelance.
Yes.
So they're being taxed at a freelance rate.
Correct, which is horrific.
So that means they're making $10 for that $20 article, basically.
You know, just something to consider. So no, I don't, as someone who is familiar with the industry rates and has had a lot of these conversations, that does not meet an industry standard of you're making $10 for your quick article.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You should not be paid $10 to do anything.
No.
There's no service you should ever provide for $10.
You are correct in that there are more and more decent people and decent outlets running these things and trying to do better, because for a long time, and this is another thing, IGN's a fucking dinosaur, right?
Mm-hmm.
IGN's been around forever. IGN probably doesn't see anything wrong with these rates because their rates have gone up by X% on a spreadsheet every year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, 5 years ago, this would have been a $15 article. You know, and in their minds, they're like, we've been going up competitively. No.
I couldn't put 2 gallons of gas in my car.
Oh, God. That guy who just woke up from cryo-freeze to play Cyberpunk, put him back down for another 4 or 5 years.
Yep, absolutely.
There's some shit that's about to go down.
Right, they're paying for their own health care, all of these things.
So listen, this is especially why, and I'm not just flogging our own wares here, this is especially why when you see somebody who makes videos you like or writes articles you like or has a good voice and a good opinion or is finding good stuff out, people like, people who are doing really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If they're doing it independently, support them.
Yep.
Even if it's just, listen, even if it's just like, well, I don't have a lot of money, but like I watch 10 of this guy's videos a month. Let me give him at least $1.
Or like
it goes,
post a tweet.
It goes, yeah, and post a tweet. Like share that work. It goes farther than you think. I mean, people make games. People Make Games right now is one of the greatest channels on YouTube. They're the ones that broke the story about all the mistreatment of Roblox underage developers and things like that.
Yeah.
People Make Games is doing incredible work. They do it all independently. There are like 3 of them. They do it all based on Patreon. And they are people who have been in the industry for years who, number 1, could never get paid enough to do the work that they're doing. And number 2, would not be allowed to do half the work that they're doing because, and I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat stuff there, but there are some stories that no outlet would take from them just because of optics and politics and advertising. You know? So whenever you find somebody, people like NoClip, people like Danny and NoClip who are making video game documentaries, who are getting like real good in-depth interviews with people who are not, these are good things. And if you find people in the industry who are doing these good things, support them.
Yeah.
They'll make more from that. As little as it seems like they make, they'll make more from that than they do at most of these big companies. Speaking of big companies.
Okay, we've only got a few more minutes. It's the last piece of bad news I can handle.
Okay. Do we skip this one?
It's fine.
A lot of people are talking about it. We don't need to talk about this one. This one's everywhere. We don't have to do it.
Elon Musk is yelling about an edit button. That's it.
Okay,
That's all. We can leave it at that. We can just leave it at that.
Just all it is just a week after buying his large chunk of Twitter, he's now talking on Twitter like he owns the place. I don't know if you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, but
yes, I have.
But in the restaurant industry, there's always an owner. There are always like a bunch of owners, and one of them is just like some guy who gave a little bit of money, who's rich, who's like a friend of the owner.
Absolutely.
But whenever that guy comes in, even though he has no power and he doesn't, like, you have to just treat that guy like the world.
Yes.
Like the world. He doesn't run the restaurant. He doesn't really own the restaurant. He just wants to say that he owns a restaurant.
Yes.
Elon Musk, immediately after buying 9% of Twitter, just jumped on and was like, would y'all like an edit button? He's immediately just making promises. He's the kid running for school president who says he's going to get us soda machines. You can't do that, kid. That's above and beyond your powers. You can't make everyday pizza day, kid.
This is the exact opposite of the story that we covered on Wednesday where Joe Biden was like, everyone should have health care.
Why doesn't everyone... Have you guys heard this? That people don't have health care?
This is the exact flip side of that.
Aren't Aren't they testing an edit button, though? Chaotic Groovy, there have been rumors that they've been testing this edit button for years.
Like 5 to 8 years.
The moment they add an edit button to Twitter burns down.
I actually don't want an edit button.
No, there is no way that I want an edit button.
Don't want an edit button.
Don't want an edit button. If you post a typo, take it down.
Yep.
There's no reason
Sus.
for an edit button.
The thing that would happen if we had an edit button that a lot of people do not factor in is, let's say someone tweeted something that I agreed with that was very cool, and then I posted a retweet of it, right? Because it said, hey, I love puppies.
Yeah.
And then that person goes back and edits that tweet, and they change it to some like Nazi bullshit.
Yeah.
But I don't notice. I retweeted it a week and a half ago.
See, and here's the thing. Cubanono says it must have an edit history attached. No one's going to click that.
No one's clicking the edit history.
Have you ever seen the follow-up tweet to a popular tweet?
No one cares. No one cares.
You can tweet something you can see a tweet that has 10,000 retweets and 100,000 likes, and somebody can like underneath it put like a second tweet for clarification, and it'll have 8 likes.
Yep.
Nobody's going to look at that.
Right.
The edit button is a misinformation button.
Yes.
Elon Musk, Twitter is already a cesspool, and he is going to cesspool it even more. Let's move on to some good news.
Okay.
What's the nicest thing a partner has ever done for you? What's the biggest thing? And not just like a grand show, but what's like the thing where you were like, oh wow, that was really lovely.
You know, when my partner and I first started dating, very, very early on, he built a little altar to celebrate a pagan holiday.
Oh.
He was like, I looked up what this is. I bought a bunch of things.
That's very nice.
And I understand that honey's involved. It's here. It's a specific kind of flower. I don't know.
Today's a big day,
There it
right?
is. Yeah.
That's so lovely. I love that. There are things like that you can do that just are like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, this person did a good thing. I've tried to do some good things. I try to be a good partner. I've had some good things done for me, obviously. But I've never done anything like this. You might, there we go. Loving boyfriend edits 115 hours of anime filler out of Naruto for girlfriend.
Wow.
So, this person's partner started getting into anime. They started watching things together.
Yeah.
And he was like, will you watch Naruto with me? Is it time? I don't want to like overwhelm you, but can we watch it? And she was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. He spent 3 months re-editing all of Naruto. Cut 115 hours of all the filler and flashbacks and garbage that's in Naruto.
Wow.
Just to like make a really good Naruto experience for his girlfriend.
This is the YouTuber Ocean who is primarily an anime content YouTuber. And they posted a video saying, I re-edited all of Naruto for my girlfriend, and went through the backstory of it all and what they decided to cut out and explained what.
Talks about the process and all of it. Definitely check that out. I have not watched the whole video, but what a lovely thing to do.
That's adorable.
What a lovely thing to do. He also said, like, he calls it the Ocean Cut, and he's like, first rule of Ocean Cut, it's the dub. Sorry, not sorry. This is a dub household, and it's my preferred version, and this is the way it's going to go down.
It's okay if you like dubs.
So he said he would take 3 to 6 episodes and cut them down into like 50-minute Ocean Cut episodes. His YouTube goes into great detail about his thought process for cutting content like Naruto's diarrhea incident, literally all of the sexy jutsu stuff, and Jiraiya's super didn't age well pervy introduction.
I never got into Naruto because the worst kids I knew growing up were Naruto kids.
Yeah. I get it. There's some things that are really, really good, but you just don't want to interact with that particular fandom.
Yeah.
Which I will say now, the Naruto fandom is pretty much everybody.
Yeah, it's
Like-
very different as an adult, but like far too late for me to do that.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, like middle school Naruto boys were the worst middle school boys.
They do say that not all filler episodes were removed. Gotta see, gotta know, Kakashi Sensei's true face is still there. So a lot of like stuff that's like really fun filler or like really, really just good, well-regarded character filler is still in there. It's pretty interesting. He did say that he cut the Land of Tea escort mission episodes, saying, I cut that shit out so fast, it's so boring and badly animated, don't bother with it and don't at me.
Incredible.
I love it. That's so amazing. Did she enjoy the show? The answer is yes. She said it was surprisingly one of the best shows you've shown me so far.
That's great.
Yeah. He cannot release this cut, obviously, but he does go into detail about what stayed and what went, in case you want to take a quick 3 months and recreate it for yourself.
Yeah. There you go. Just a quick 3 months. I do want to talk about this. We only have a little bit of time left, but we started a few minutes late. So, Flash fans are calling for Grant Gustin to replace Ezra Miller in the DCEU. It's me. I'm Flash fans calling for Grant Gustin to replace Ezra Miller in the DCEU.
Some of us have been here since the beginning.
Time.
We've been here. We've been out here. We've been out here. It's you and me and Tom Cavanaugh have been screaming from the beginning, Grant Gustin should be the Flash.
Jesus Christ, Anthony. You moved the camera.
I moved the camera.
The framing worse.
Listen to me.
We're in a shed.
Listen to me.
A second floor shed.
Ezra Miller, we're not going to go into everything that's been going on with Ezra Miller. You should know that Ezra Miller recently got arrested. Ezra Miller has had multiple legal incidents in the past. Ezra Miller, we hope everybody gets the help they need in their lives. That's...
Essentially, there's been a lot of news stories around Ezra Miller that they have been just like fucking around in Hawaii and getting into trouble and getting arrested over and over again for getting into fights and shit. Obviously, there was a video a while back of them choking out a fan. There's been absolutely banana shit time after time after time after time after time.
Their representatives apparently had to call Rolling Stone when Rolling Stone did their big cover interview of them. Had to call Rolling Stone to get some weird rambling about automatic weapons and rising up and stuff like that out of their interview. And they have posted some TikToks and Instagram stuff.
The stuff about them going up against the KKK? Did you see that?
Yeah,
that's
what I was about to say. They posted some of that stuff that was like, oh, we're going to come. Don't think that we won't come kill you.
And like, look... Yeah, I threatened the KKK. But Ezra Miller, what are you doing?
I think that it sounds like there's some stuff mentally and emotionally that's going on with Ezra Miller. They have been removed. And people are saying, it's a multiverse. You know who's already the Flash.
This is not officially true. They have not been officially removed. There have been rumors that Warner Brothers is reconsidering Ezra Miller as the future of the Flash. Obviously, there is the Flash movie, which is already done, isn't it?
Yeah, Flashpoint's done, but the idea is there was a Warner Brothers meeting that was like, hey, do we let this person continue on in future projects?
And obviously, they've been spiraling as of like recent, but it has also been years of this. So like, this isn't like, hey, a psychotic break just happened and this is extremely out of character. Like, this is an escalation of a pattern of behavior, which is a problem. So Grant Gustin, on the other hand, is such a good Flash.
Listen, he's so good. He's so good and so sweet, and he's putting the work, and he loves it. Just let him be the Flash.
He deserves it. He's such a good Flash.
Let him be the Flash.
I'm like, I keep wanting to say things about like liking Grant Gustin as a human and everything.
But I don't know Grant Gustin.
But I don't know Grant Gustin. I want to be like, he's such a good boy.
Here's the thing.
But I don't know.
I was going to say, listen.
Seems like it.
He's a great Flash. But Warner Brothers, run some better background checks. By which I mean, look at anything before you hire somebody.
Right.
You're just Grindelwalding left and right here. And we're not into that.
Woof.
You're just Grindelwalding around with all your fucking casting choices.
Hippuno in the live studio audience said, let the boy zoom.
Let him zoom.
Zoom.
He goes so fast.
Like literally Google. Like you don't even have to, like, you don't have to have access to anything we don't have access to. Thank you. Tanzir Audacity also said, I'm not a big fan of DC, but let me tell you, I've watched all of the CW Flash. This is a great show. We, on a bi-monthly basis, I would say, go on about the Flash on this show and just how much we love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that time again because Grant Gustin deserves to zoom.
It's just that good boy and it's the good boy with good dads show.
It is.
And that's the way the Flash should be. It should be fun and heartwarming and I don't know, man.
Ezra Miller's Flash was not good. Like not well performed and also not a good boy.
No, the way that was written, woof.
Woof.
Woof. Are you running so fast that you slowed down the world and you're gonna touch ladies? That's weird, man. That's weird.
Digging a grave for Superman. I wonder if Wonder Woman would fuck me.
Yeah. Do you think Wonder Woman's into me while we bury this dead body? What? I'm sorry. Look. I want to end on a good.
I do want to show this great tweet that says the best time to make Grant Gustin the DCEU Flash was years ago. The second best time is now.
Is now. Let's end on something good.
Okay.
There's a link that says Saige don't click.
And I did not click.
Saige, it's time for Tinder for Cats. No.
Anthony, no.
Tinder for Cats was made by Curiosity. The code is on GitHub. It is open source.
Can you just go to tinderforcats.com?
Yeah, go to tinderforcats.com. All of these cats are up for adoption.
So if you like one, does it take you to adopt? What are we showing?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to do something. I was trying to do something. Put it on yours.
There you go.
So you can swipe. You can swipe left or right on these cats.
Imagine swiping no on any of these cats. Look at Toby. Coco.
Coco, she's a Secret Service agent.
I love her. What is a star?
Stormy is a paramedic. Ooh, saving lives. Bella is also a Secret Service agent. All these Secret Service agents need to get off of Tinder. A lawyer.
Look at Gigi. Nova. Is this like a super like? Is that what happens when it goes up? I've never used Tinder. I genuinely do not know.
I also have never
Ginger's a model.
And you can actually swipe.
Ah, man, hold on.
You can actually swipe.
I can't go back.
So if you, nope and yes.
I accidentally swiped right on a cat that was labeled as a police officer.
Oh no.
But Kiki's an interior designer.
Not that you can fix him energy.
Jade, a physical therapist. Oh my God.
So anyway, if you want to spend your day doing lovely things, just go to Tinder for Cats.
I don't think that's a real cat.
Yeah, it's Willow.
I don't think Willow's real. I think that's one of those AI generated cats actually.
Oh yeah,
photo.
I can see it like on the.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's not a real cat.
It's not a real cat.
Can anybody upload cats?
I don't know. I don't know how Tinder for Cat works. I only know Tinder for Cat do.
Okay, interested in adopting, and then it just takes you to
animal
shelters.
Yeah.
Okay, fascinating.
But it takes them. It uses your location and tries to find animal shelters near you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very lovely. Go check it out. Spend some time swiping on cats and just looking at cats. That's all.
All right.
That's all. I thought you would like that.
I do like that very much.
You're probably gonna do that a lot today.
I'm gonna do that a lot today.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love when you come here and just swipe on cats and talk about dumb stuff with us. It really makes our day.
Go swipe on some cats. not.
We, of course, are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, except for when we're not. Speaking of which, next week is going to be a little bit truncated.
That is very true. We are going to be out of studio filming some stuff. So we'll keep you updated on what exactly that looks like,
Yeah,
but it won't look normal.
Yeah, we don't know what we're allowed to say yet, but we'll have something for you next week.
But we also will have something for you later today, which is a Patreon clip. I'm sorry you've missed us on the Patreon. We did have some off weeks. But
She put half of a sequoia tree in her foot.
I did do that.
So you know. So today on Patreon, after this episode, we're gonna put up a little clip, maybe a bonus story, maybe just a little catch-up session. It's been a little while. It's been a while. But be on the lookout for that. If you're not part of the Patreon yet, just go be part of the Patreon.
$5 a month, and you get bonus clips every week that we have Friday shows.
Every week for most of the weeks.
On Fridays.
Every week, most of the weeks.
Yes. There are also other ways to support us. You can join the Discord. It's completely free. You could tell a friend about the show. You could post about it on Twitter when we're going live to invite your friends to come and watch it with you. It's a fun group experience. We have IRL friends that sometimes watch the shows together. It's very nice.
Aww,
it's very cool. It's very nice of them.
Yeah.
But we will get into thanking everybody who has already supported us during the show today. But first, Anthony, where can they find you on the internet?
Well, tonight, of course, you can find me right back here for Failed Save. Big week for Failed Save.
It's a big fucking week for Failed Save.
Pretty huge. If you missed last week, we would recommend catching up.
Oh my God, I said I would wait a week and then I would talk about it. Now I'm allowed to talk about it.
There's a lot happening. So catch up on that. Catch that tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Of course, we have Concerns, my science comedy podcast with Jeff Kanata. It's Friday, which means there's a new episode out, and I, of course, know what that episode's about because I produce and host and edit the show. No, that's last week's episode. It's very good, whatever it is.
You bet.
It's a science comedy podcast with Jeff Kanata, and if you don't know what last week's episode was, baby, it's new to you, and it's good, and it's funny. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where I am at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. Gonna be streaming probably a lot this weekend. Not gonna say why or for what.
Okay. All right.
Got some homework.
We got some homework to do. Everybody in chat is having a moment about tonight. A lot of things happening. Oh no, you're gonna make me cry again tonight? Yeah. I do think so. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel on days that happen. I promise. You can also find me as well here tonight for Failed Save. Question mark? I don't know. It might be a little bit interesting. Could be there. Could not be. You can find that at 7 p.m. Pacific. You can find me all over the place also for other things. That's all I've got.
Oh my God, why?
Oh no. Twitch is yelling at us. Hey, thank you to everybody so much who supported us today. We appreciate you very much. Thank you to Lady Lara Croft for the 5-month resub.
Oh my gosh, is that Lady Lara Croft?
That the one and only.
The Tomb Raider?
Revolver Ocelot for 10 months. That's a lot of months. Very cool of you. Jesse PB with the tips said 20 for re-reporting the IGN story. Or was this an hour of professional QA? Nice. Clever. I like that. Metric Mint with the Prime sub. Welcome. We're very glad to have you. Thank you for taking a little money out of the Beezy's pocket. Fraud Monet gifting 5 subs to the community. Very cool of you. Emily Green said, love y'all. Keep being the best and only morning show in existence. Thank you, Emily Green, so much.
We're shocked that nobody else has stepped up to start a morning show.
Kaylin Roy gifting 10 subs to the community. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Calamity Nolan with the Prime sub as well. Thank you for taking a little money on the BZ. Fraud Monet also with their own sub for 3 months. Gentle Pete for 6 months. Danny Boy's Calling Pipes gifting a sub to Brataka Brett as well as to Mixley17. Old Man Jane with the 6-month resub. Why can I not scroll and see more? It is giving me a hard time. Jay White for 3 months as well. And we are caught up. Thank you, everybody who supported us today. You literally make doing this show possible. We love starting our mornings off with you. And we're very, very happy that you decided to show up. The Indiegogo is currently at $17,464. So fucking cool. If you want to check that out, it's an excellent way to continue supporting our independent network and helping us make more content. We have a bunch of new offers that we just put up for our stretch goals. So do check those out if you haven't looked at our Indiegogo in a while or you haven't seen it yet. And that is it.
That's it, BBs. We love you. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday.